Welcome to the 22nd Annual Bridge Film Festival. I'm Andy Cohen, your host. Tonight, you will see the best in student filmmaking from Friends schools around the world. You will also get to hear from Lydia Haran, who has been working with our student filmmakers at Tandem Friends School for over 20 years. But first, I need to talk to you.
Hi, I'm Ken Burns. I've been making documentary films for more than 40 years, and I can tell you, teaching media literacy and socially responsible filmmaking to students of all ages has never been more important. Since 2000, the Bridge Film Festival has provided a forum for dialogue, learning, and the exchange of ideas on diversity, serving student filmmakers across an international network of Quaker educational institutions. The festival is committed to nurturing filmmaking that communicates messages of conscience. Guided by the Quaker principles of truth, community, equality, and peace, the festival gives voice to student expression and recognizes creative achievement. Let your film speak.
For complete festival information, go to our website at www.bridgefilmfestival.org. I'm going to get some snacks for the movies. But first, hear about the awards. The festival judges evaluate films based on communication, creativity, technical quality, Quaker relevancy, and originality. There are awards for documentary, narrative, new media, public service announcement, and the Festival Executive Committee chooses the winner of the coveted Spirit of the Festival Award. Here I am with Lydia Haran, direct from Tandem Friends. First, how did you get involved with the Bridge Film Festival?
Many years ago, when I first came to Tandem, there was a teacher at the school who was a Latin teacher, but he was also really involved with all things Quaker at the school. He was like part of the Quaker Youth Leadership Conference and, a real leader in that respect. He came to me and he said, there is this festival, this film festival, and I think you should check it out because you're a creative person. Now, I wasn't teaching film at the time. I'm a drama teacher primarily. Here he comes to me and he says, they're making these films and for this great Quaker film festival about Quaker values, you should do something with it. So I checked it out and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. Took some of my drama time. And I said, you guys want to make some films? Well, yeah. Kids, this is what they love to do. So the kids taught me as much as I taught them. I just sort of facilitated it. And with one computer in our library at that time, we made several films that we sent to the film festival.
The films have to, in some way, reflect Quaker values in action. That's what we're trying to do. And how does that work with the students?
I wanted them to think more deeply about issues. I wanted them to learn more about Quakerism. I wanted the kids to get beyond themselves too and see, what it meant to have what Quaker values were, and then what it meant to be in action, and some things that they could do in the community. And a lot of our films, we actually went out into the community beyond Tandem and told stories out there. As a drama teacher, I'm always trying to find the hook, like what's going to keep them passionate and involved. And so I also explained to them that these films don't have to be heavy. One year we did a film about simplicity where I took some boys into one of the department stores here in town, and they allowed us to film and knock things off the shelves and all of this. And it was about how these people were like just driving through a department store, just putting everything in their baskets. And it was like, saying, don't do this, live simply. Well, those kids loved that. Besides the sort of understanding the Quaker values, it's about collaboration. It's about the power of storytelling. It's about problem solving. It's about sort of opening your mind. There was one year where students did a film about homelessness here in Charlottesville, and I took them to a homeless shelter they got to interview the people that worked there. They got to interview some of the people that were coming there. And afterwards, the students said, I had no idea how many homeless people there are in our town. And I also had no idea how many people care about that issue.
Were there any moments where a student came to you and you really had to, advise them on what their message was and how they were conveying it?
Most recent narrative film that we sent to you, the one called You're So Gay, which was actually written by a sixth grader. The writer of that was really passionate about that whole issue, but was really worried about how people were going to take it, especially coming from a sixth grader.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of conversation about that, and about, that she really needed to follow her dream and not worry about that. And that there was a lot of support for her from the school. And that, what she was saying was definitely Quaker values in action. And I guess I advised her on stuff, that kept her moving forward in that project and kept her feeling okay about it. So, and then she was very excited when she found that she had won the narrative award. She was like, what? I was like, yeah. Before I go, I just wanted to say how grateful I am to you and to the festival, but to you in particular. Yeah, you have inspired not only my students, but students all over the world. And I just think it's really important to say thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I got my start when I was in high school from teachers that started a film class and started a film festival. And so I owe it to teachers in my past, and hopefully there will be teachers in the future that will be thanking for
Yes.
this effort too, and this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And back to the festival.
Yeah.
Our first category is documentary. We received 7 documentaries covering subjects including equality, ecology, peace activism, immigration, chickens and eggs, a musical calling, and hedgehogs. But only one could be selected as the Judges' Choice Award winner. And the award for documentary goes to Seekers Seek of Truth, George Stewart.
On March 8, 1965, the U.S. Supreme Court greatly expanded Americans' First Amendment right by striking down the requirement that a conscientious objector must affirm the belief in a supreme being. And the promoter who fought relentlessly for this significant change is Daniel Seeger.
The Vietnam War was just beginning when the Supreme Court decided my case, and neither me nor the Quakers nor the United States Supreme Court probably understood or could foresee the importance of the case at the time it was decided.
When Seeger wrote to his draft board requesting exemption from military service, he cited his deeply rooted pacifist conviction instead of his belief in God, because as a young man drifting towards agnosticism, he was uncertain of his belief. And on this conscientious objector request form, there is a question asking, do you believe in a supreme being? And in order to be completely honest with his beliefs, Seeger answered neither yes nor no. Instead, he wrote an 8-page personal essay on humans' ability and inability to know God. But since Seeger didn't directly affirm his belief in a supreme being, his request was denied.
My beliefs in the initial phases were founded in what I would call now a feeling of compassion for the victims of war, and a feeling that I could never shoot someone, drop napalm on someone. I could never do that.
Still, Seeger refused to give in, risking up to 5 years in jail, and challenged this decision.
My determination, actually, when I sort of all by myself wrote my letter to the draft board, my determination was not really to go to the Supreme Court. My determination was to go to jail. I mean, that seemed to me to be the logical outcome of what I was about to do.
He reached out to American Friends Service Committee and appealed the case all the way to the Supreme Court, arguing that the religious test instituted by Congress violated the Disestablishment Clause of the First Amendment, which prohibits the government from establishing or promoting a specific religion.
One of my college friends, when the selective service system of the United States government began bearing down on me and becoming more insistent that I check myself in for a pre-induction physical, one of my friends at college said, "Dan, you better look up the Quakers that may be able to help you." It was the Quakers who felt that there was an injustice about to happen here. And furthermore, it was not just an injustice to me, it was an injustice that was happening to many people who were getting tripped up by the dogmatic test of belief in a supreme being, and yet who the Quakers regarded as sincere, conscientious objectors.
Eventually, the Supreme Court affirmed the Seeger's argument and ruled that applicants don't have to believe in a supreme being to become a conscientious objector. The first element of this individual liberty is the freedom of speech. The government must answer not just to the wealthy, not just to those of a particular religion, not just to those of a particular race, but to all of the people. That was what Robert F. Kennedy said in his Ripple of Poetry. He was a champion of the First Amendment and advocated for the right of all Americans to express their religious and spiritual beliefs. Seeger's actions were a powerful affirmation of RFK's vision for a just America, as they both believed firmly in the First Amendment and actively sought to defend it.
Clearly, in the present situation, courage will be needed, real courage will be needed, because I do think the situation has deteriorated very badly. And we do have to stand up and insist that the ship of state be set aright so that truth has a chance to be heard, which is getting more and more difficult.
I think Seeger's story taught us the importance of standing up for what we believe in and for truth and justice. And his fight for religious freedom also demonstrated the value of nonconformity, and that challenging the authority when there is injustice is the only way to effect meaningful change.
I found it just really interesting that a student took a living Quaker who had done fascinating things and made a film about that person. And it was a great story, but it was also a great film because the narrator went through the campus and was telling the story and then going back and forth with the Zoom interview. And it was just a really great way that it all fit together and told a really great story that I think anyone could be interested in.
I was not one of the judges who was doing documentaries, so I don't really have a relevant comment, except to say that I've known Dan for a long time. He's a member of my meeting. And as the former film teacher at George School, I saw that piece that was coming down the road. It's been in the pipeline for a couple of years now. And it took the right kids to go ahead with it. But it's one of those things like the greatest generation is dying off, and you have to find them and interview them quickly before they're gone. So I think finding Dan Seeger and his story was a really fortuitous thing for those kids to be able to experience.
Next up, the narrative category. Always very competitive, and this year was no exception. We received 9 films from 3 countries, including Australia and the United Kingdom. even though one film is in French, but came from the United States. I hope you'll enjoy watching all of these films as I have. But tonight, we can only award one Judge's Choice Award for narrative filmmaking. And the award goes to George School for Integritas.
So we have the integritas, the I, but, okay, so we have the root, everyone. We have this root, and we have all these conjugated forms. Okay, this is all going to be, okay, very good. So we have the big test tomorrow. I want you all to show a lot of integritas, okay? Get out there, study, make sure that you know your conjugations, and then you'll be good to go.
Hey, Odisette. Hey, Ellie. Damn, we really got a test next class, and I really don't feel like studying. I'm sure it'll be fine, right?
Yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna study. I'll be fine. Let's do this.
Okay, so I have everyone's exams, and unfortunately, you did not do as well as I was hoping. I asked everyone to study, but you didn't. And I was ready to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you a curve. But I can't curve, because one of you did a great job, did study, and that affects the curve for everyone else. And it shows me that someone is capable of doing this work. But what about the rest of you? What do you? Cut corners? Don't study? Talk to your friend. Get some help. I can only do so much. Oh, Ellie, hold on. I want to tell you how proud I am. For the most part, you've been a very mediocre student. But this really impressed me. You got a great score. You actually affected everyone else's score. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a good weekend.
What did you get on the test?
I got an 100.
Really? Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I only got a 78. And I studied really hard, but that's awesome. Hey, Ellie.
I didn't do it.
Didn't do what?
Nothing.
You've been acting so weird recently.
It's just the test.
What about it? You got a 100, didn't you?
I cheated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, I thought it would be graded on a curve and I would get a better grade.
I know. And I saw my grade, and then the teacher said he wasn't going to curve, and then I saw your grade, and I know you studied so hard for this, and I didn't know what to do. But I do now. I'm going to fix this. I promise.
Okay.
I thought that the kids who worked on this film did a better job of conveying the friend's testimony of integrity with this piece. They thought very carefully about what would demonstrate integrity best.
It really shows how this cheating incident not only affected the protagonist who cheats, but everyone around her. And the actress did a good job of allowing us to see actually feel the same feelings of guilt that arise from that.
I think because of that, it's a very relatable film in terms of that, because everybody's had the thought of cheating, even if they haven't done it, that it not only affected her, but it affected every single person in that class.
The worst thing in the world was her getting congratulated for her performance on the test.
And now on to the new media category, where you never know really what to expect. It's a place to experiment, and these 4 films that were entered this year are all unique in their own way. Very close judging this year in this category. But the Judges' Choice Award for New Media goes to New to the Woods, New Garden Friends School.
Hey man, you new here?
Yeah, I felt the claymation was just this really great effect, and it felt all like spooky and atmospheric, and you really kind of instantly dropped into this whole like world that the filmmakers were creating, and just swirling around in these images, and then just to come out with a great message. It was definitely a standout for the new media category.
Yeah, very clear and like straight to the point, and it just like grabs you right away. It's really, really cute, really nice.
And now on to the public service announcement category, where we had 6 entries. Public service announcements should be brief, to the point, and raise awareness about issues that need awareness or raising. I hope you enjoy them. But tonight you're going to learn that the winner of this year's Public Service Announcement Judges' Choice Award goes to New Garden Friends School. Choose your own future.
Social media is a fundamental part of our lives, so much so that it controls us. Tech companies and social media platforms like Google and Instagram deliberately make their platforms addictive so that you watch more ads, making you the product. This has consequences such as declines in mental health. One study found that social media use strongly correlated with declines in happiness and even physical health. Effects on democracy. The number of countries with political disinformation campaigns on social media has more than doubled in the last few years. And more. So how can we fix it? There are a few ways you can help. Turn off notifications on your phone and social media platforms, keep yours and a loved one's screen time to a minimum, delete social media platforms from your device altogether, or just go outside. There's a whole world out there. Social media is the problem beneath all problems. Choose your own future. It will save your life.
I was kind of leaning more towards choose your future as the winning PSA. I think the reason that I felt that way is that I think it stayed on task about its message.
Agreed. I agree with that. The only problem I had with Choose Your Future was that the ending is very abrupt. And I would have felt better if there was some kind of a restatement or some kind of natural conclusion rather than just an end.
I wonder if the abruptness at the end was based on the fact that they were at 58 seconds and knew they had to cut it off at 60 if they were going to stay true to the definition of a PSA.
That's what it felt like.
And now what you've all been waiting for, the announcement of the Spirit of the Festival Award winner. And that film is Colored in Black, Princeton Friends School. Congratulations.
That was such a good commercial. We should go to a protest, don't you think?
Yeah, you're right, but only if it's safe.
True. We should go, but if it changes from a peaceful protest, we could...
What are you guys talking about? This is so stupid. You guys making a big deal out of this.
This is a big deal.
Don't you realize people are dying for something that's out of their control?
Who cares about attending a protest?
We do. This is serious. People are dying just because of their skin color.
Yeah, and peaceful protests are ways that you can help that. But there's other ways to help that too. You can, donate to foundations and educate people about it.
Whatever. You don't get it.
Good morning, it's me, Chad, and today I will be hosting SML Live. After the many protests in the streets of cities such as New York and Portland, we are ready to take a deep dive right into the history of the Black Lives Matter movement. To discuss this, we have some special guests, Drs. Maxwell Houston and William Aramuco, coming directly from the local history department. Now to you, Maxwell.
Thank you, Chad. The history of Black Lives Matter goes back centuries, but the large movement of the same name started on July 13th, 2013, after hashtag Black Lives Matter went viral across the internet.
All of this was for the freedom of slaves. It's going to show all the anger that can build up over, 400 years. Many deaths have occurred, including likely the most notable being George Floyd. On May 25th, 2020, 4 officers, most notably Derek Chauvin, were involved in the killing. After George allegedly stole from a convenience store and was maybe even a little bit high, the cops were called. After the handcuffed Floyd refused to get into the cop car, Chauvin shoved him to the ground, kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes. Nowhere in the Minneapolis Police Department does it state that you should ever do this, in any case whatsoever.
George Floyd, aged 46 years, had tragically been killed on the pavement by 4 ignorant policemen. The other 3 involved didn't specifically kill him, but did stand around making sure no interference was made.
On a bit of a lighter note, the founders of BLM are Alicia Garcia, Patrice Colors, and Opal Tometi. The supporters, black and white people alike, are pushing this movement forward.
If you wish to support BLM, please go to www.blacklivesmatter.com. Thank you for your help, and be sure to tune in next time on SML Live.
People mad at the cops, so they go out and protest?
Yeah.
Why are they mad at the cops? Because the cops are killing them just because of their skin color. Oh.
Yeah, now do you understand why I want to go to the peaceful protest?
Yeah, and I want to learn more about BLM.
Okay.
I can't wait to go.
I need to go like right now.
Wait.
Black Lives Matter. This is wrong in many ways. It's been wrong for many days. We can fix this together.
Thank you, friends, colleagues, advisors, filmmakers, and judges for your contributions to our festival. And remember to let your film speak.